Good morning, Internet. It is a very early morning here in Chicago, while I am headed to Novato, California. But first, we gotta go to O'Hare to take a flight to LAX. So come along, join me for a flight review. Let's get going. Everything so far looks like it's on time for our 8:30 flight of departure. On American again, this should be an Airbus 737 if I'm not mistaken. Got confirmation on that, I actually know something this time. But our flight has to go from Minneapolis to Chicago this morning before it can reach us, so fingers crossed everything goes good there. Shouldn't be a problem with any storms or anything today. It looked pretty sunny here as well as in San Francisco. And like last time, we were taking pretty much the exact same route to get to the airport, if not the same, just earlier in the morning. So, just a few things. There was no in-route entertainment, there was no form of drink or snack service, and the seats didn't have any form of cushion. And it's still somehow better than a Spirit flight. I'm kidding, I know it was a CTA bus, which was actually really clean. The ride went really fast, not a lot of people this early in the morning, and it was on time, which isn't necessarily heard of in the mornings, especially this early, so kudos to you, even though you're not an airplane.
But now let's actually jump on the CTA and head to the airport.
We got off the train, now we're headed to go check in and print our boarding passes. We already checked in online, but gotta tag our one bag and actually print the tickets. Hopefully that can just be a self-serve kiosk, and I don't have to wait in too much of a line. But the fun part this morning is that the flight that we're supposed to be getting on is coming from Minneapolis, or at least the plane is, and it hasn't left Minneapolis, and it's been delayed an hour and a half now, and I believe it's still sitting on the tarmac. So I don't know how long it takes to fly Minneapolis to Chicago, but I don't think it'll be here quite for an 8:30 takeoff, so I'll keep you updated though. So we looked up on Brian's phone. The flight didn't depart yet and would arrive about 20 minutes before we need to take off. So I don't think that's happening for us. I don't think that's a good sign. Also, this one's frozen as well.
Finally found a kiosk that worked and agreed to not bring any prohibited items, declined a travel voucher, and printed our boarding passes.
Pretty concerned about this self-check-in. 2 of them didn't work. 3rd one worked, but then it printed my boarding pass very large. Like, it didn't cut it. So now I have like half a sheet of paper I'm stuck with. American, what's going on? Is this bug really still messing you up, or weird check-in process? Also, we decided not to check the one bag that we do have. We're only gone for a couple days, and it should fit in like an overhead bin. No need for bag tags, no need for drop, so I think we're ready for security more or less. Made it through security pretty easily, no hiccups there. Just a little bit of a line this morning. The worst news is that our flight from Minneapolis won't leave until 8:30. That's a little bit of a problem considering we are supposed to leave Chicago at 8:30. Just met up with Brian because he had pre-check, which went a little bit faster today compared to last time. It looks like our plane won't arrive until 10 a.m. Give or take 30 to 40 minutes to flip the plane, make sure everything's all set to go. So we may be here for a good 3 more hours. I guess time to see our gate and wander around. It's always something here at O'Hare, isn't it? And also, everyone was very mad in line for security for no reason. If you just followed the rules, nobody would side-eye you, but like, everyone was trying to throw hands. I don't know. Well, we didn't even make it past the Starbucks line to get to the G gates, and it's already changed. So at least it's not the same gate or right next to the gate as from O'Hare to Philadelphia. So it's at least something new, but already changing the gate and the plane isn't here, not that great of a sign to start off our morning. I know O'Hare Airport is big because it's a giant international airport in the 3rd largest city in the US, but normally we're in like G concourse, I guess you want to call it, in Terminal 3, but being now in K, it is about quadruple the size of G with significantly more. Oh, and we found our gate. That's my rule of flying of always see the gate so you know exactly where you're coming back to in case something changes, or you actually need to board your flight, you actually know where you're going and you can't get lost. But now I think we're gonna try for breakfast. Also, it still says San Francisco's on time, and we'll board in 28 minutes. I'm not sure if there's a plane here or not. Okay, so we're looking at Brian's phone again of the previous flight this plane should have been on. Now it's magically here. I think they moved some planes around, edited the plane maybe, or what specific one it was, and we may be boarding in 30 minutes. This plane didn't come from Minneapolis now, it came from Philly, so they really started jumping, moving planes around. But if that means we're off the ground in 30 minutes or an hour instead of 3 hours, I will take it. But now that makes food a little bit more of a pressing issue. So let's walk a little faster, Brian. He ignored me. And get McDonald's or something? I don't know. We'll see what's around.
This is the sandwich index.
Brian is waiting for our McDonald's order while I go look for a grab-and-go sandwich to complete the sandwich index. And I think I found a Hudson News to do so. $11 for a sandwich didn't seem too bad, but we got $20 worth of McDonald's, which was 2 drinks, I think hash browns, and a couple breakfast sandwiches. No nuggies, which is what I wanted this morning. But yeah, that completes the sandwich index. I believe it's the same price as it was last time, but editor me, please check that. I don't think the price changed within the last 2-3 weeks.
This concludes the sandwich index.
Pleasantly surprised after thinking we were going to be delayed on this American flight to San Francisco, Airbus 737, and now we're pre-boarding. Got everything scanned, now we wait in line on the jet bridge to actually get on the plane. Exactly on time when we're supposed to be boarding, if not a minute or two early. So to go from 3 hours delayed to a minute or two early, I thought this was going to be a rough morning, so really keep you on your toes, American.
Touch the plane for good luck.
We started boarding on time just fine, but people on board are boarding very slowly and very methodically with their overhead bags. The flight crew did say a couple times, like, stand them up like books so more can fit in the overhead bins. It is a full flight, so if we need to check bags at the jet bridge, we have to check bags at the jet bridge. People are just being kind of weird. It almost feels like the boarding groups were out of order. So I don't know what's really going on there. And people that have already boarded seem to already be standing up and digging through their bags in the overhead bins, which kind of just gums up the whole situation. Interesting so far. As well as none of the flight crew on the plane actually greeted any of us. Only the person on the actual ticketing gate. No eye contact, no hi, how are you from the flight crew. They were just kind of on their phones.
AC was working, and remember, no smoking, as well as the light working just fine. The plane itself wasn't the cleanest, especially with stuff in the seat back pocket and a little bit stuff in between the seat. An okay amount of legroom, not the greatest. And not the most comfy seat either. But it did have a foldable headrest, which is always appreciated.
Final safety checks complete. Now we are just starting to taxi, get in line for takeoff.
And we pushed back from the gate and saw a couple Spirit planes.
Let's go through what's in the back of the pocket right away. Looks like we have, a nice little safety card that I'm struggling to open. We have some in-flight entertainment and info. Looks like there'll be TV we can watch on our phones type of situation. Live TV, which is always nice. Music, Wi-Fi info, complimentary beverages, which are always nice. Thank you, American. And then it looks like some snacks and drinks that you can buy as well. And then the waist bag, pretty standard. With the seat back pocket, there's a place to put your phone when you are watching and streaming. And also with our seat, we have a USB for charging right here. But we also have, down here, a full plug.
And now it was time to take off and head to San Francisco. And make sure you watch my next video where I actually explore the city.
Just woke up from, I think, about an hour and a half nap after takeoff. The seatbelt sign has been on the entire time because we've been having a little bit of turbulence, but I don't think it was been that bad. The blue line jolted me around more. I guess it's this little partly cloudy bit that's making us have that turbulence. My headrest thing doesn't really keep me in, I just keep kind of, but the window behind me is at the perfect position that I can't really lean on it just because it's slightly too far forward. I didn't bother to recline either just because I think it's kind of rude to the person behind me. And as soon as I woke up from the nap, the person ahead of me reclined the seat, so I'm kind of extra scrunched in for filming. I think they're starting a little bit of a beverage service. Seems to be a little slow because the seatbelt sign is still on. People seem to be moving around and like grabbing things from the overhead bins and going to the bathroom, which always confuses me because it's seatbelt sign. Sit down. You know, it is unclear if there's a full meal service on this flight or if it's just beverage service and possible snack. I'm not that worried either way since I did eat beforehand, and it looked like a lot of people brought food on the flight, especially we saw that getting on and boarding. And with the non-delay and how the crew seems to be improving based on how they seem to be interacting a little bit more, actually talking to people on the flight and passengers and each other even, it seems like American is really doubling down on the under-promise and over-deliver. For example, by saying, oh, we're delayed, we're delayed. Oh, we're not, we're on time, let's go. Flight crew isn't going to talk or say hi aboard the plane, but then giving very solid service while in the air. Maybe there's a tactic to it. It's working, but they're definitely under-promise, over-deliver, which I'd rather have it that way than over-promise and under-deliver, so.
The tray table was of decent size, but definitely was dirty.
And for beverage service, I opted for an orange juice, and it looks like they gave us free cookies as well. Can't really complain about a little cookie snack at any point during a flight. I think I would have preferred pretzels, but these are good too. I lied. These are better than the pretzels. I much rather would have the cookie. The seatbelt sign still hasn't gone off on this flight, just because every time we get close to the time that we could turn it off, it seems like we hit another turbulence patch. So it's been a lot of sitting, not many people stretching out, making it a little bit of a longer flight than what it normally would feel like. Don't think I'm going to get to a loo review just because I'm in the window, have to jump over two people, but the seatbelt sign didn't come off, so which is much appreciated. And personally, I'm just using the downloaded media I have to entertain myself. I haven't been using like the onboard Wi-Fi to watch live TV or the handful of movies and TV shows that American has, but Brian seems to be, because he keeps watching different Olympic events, but I keep peeking at his phone to do so as well. But whenever he switches like channels, the Wi-Fi is extremely slow for him. Like it'll take him a couple minutes to get back from one channel to the next, which is kind of frustrating just because you really can't go back on live TV at all. Not my favorite experience for Wi-Fi, but if they offer it, it's better than nothing. But I still would prefer just like a built-in entertainment system than having to use my own devices. We are about to start our final descent into San Francisco, and the flight crew, specifically the pilot, just said we're descending. Looks good in San Francisco for landing the plane, but I think this is where I'm generally going to wrap up the flight review portion unless something big happens. So this was Brett and Coach flying on a 737 from Chicago O'Hare to San Francisco. Overall, decent flight. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what types of flights or places you would like to see in the comments below. That way I can get a pretty good gauge of where I should go. Or if you've had a recent flight experience, let me know how it was. It's always good to know and get other opinions about these things like that. This has been Brett Coach signing off for this flight review.
And it was a beautiful descent over the Bay of San Francisco to make our landing on the runway nice and easy.
So we
just landed and now we're taxiing to the gate. I don't think the flight crew did a final walkthrough just because I can see some people with like tray tables down and the seat in front of me is still like significantly reclined. So the flight crew was doing very well until the very end and was lacking in the beginning. I don't know if something bigger was at play. Strong middle, weak beginning and end for the crew. Just an odd experience overall.
Thanks for watching, and I will see you in coach.